Every single week, I talk to people from all over the country, asking me the same thing about Kansas City. And honestly, the answer is not what most people expect. If you've been Googling, should I move to Kansas City, or asking yourself, is Kansas City a good place to live? You are not alone. Kansas City has been popping up on more and more people's radars over the last few years, and there are some really specific reasons for that. Now, I want to be upfront. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what decision to make. That's not what this video is for. What I am going to do is lay out the numbers, the trends, and some real life stuff from right here on the ground so that you can make the call for yourself. Because at the end of the day, whether or not Kansas City is the right move depends on what you're actually looking for. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll know. Let's start with growth because this one tells you a lot. People ask, is Kansas City growing? And the short answer is yes, pretty significantly. The Kansas City metro area is home to roughly 2.2 million people and has been growing pretty steadily. According to recent US Census data, the Kansas City metro has been one of the more consistent growth markets in the Midwest, adding tens of thousands of new residents over the last several years. But here's what's more interesting than just the raw population number. It's who's moving here and why people are moving to Kansas City. A big chunk of the growth is coming from people leaving higher cost metros, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, even coastal cities, and it's not random. There's a reason people are landing here specifically, and it comes down to a few things. One of the big drivers is job market expansion. Kansas City has seen major corporate investments in recent years, from logistics to tech to healthcare and finance. Companies like Cerner, Garmin, H&R Block are headquartered here. The Animal Health Corridor, which runs right through Kansas City, is literally the largest concentration of animal health companies in the world. That's a niche a lot of people don't know about. And on top of that, there are major infrastructure projects in the works, including the new KCI Airport terminal that opened not too long ago, which is genuinely changing how connected this city feels to the rest of the country. So, what is it actually like living in Kansas City? I'll give you the honest picture. You've got 4 real seasons, which some people love and some people need to adjust to. Winters can be brutally cold. Honestly, I think we get ice storms more than snowstorms, but summers are humid and hot. But the spring and fall here are genuinely beautiful. I remember the first fall that I spent in my neighborhood in Independence, and the trees along Lee Summit Road were something else. It felt like a movie set. And the food scene here is legitimately one of the best in the country, and I will die on that hill. Kansas City barbecue is not a stereotype, it is a way of life. But beyond barbecue, the restaurant scene has exploded. You've got James Beard nominated chefs, a thriving craft brewery scene, great coffee shops, and a Crossroads art district that gives the city a creative energy you wouldn't necessarily expect from a Midwestern metro. Traffic is manageable compared to most large cities. I've talked to people who've moved here from Atlanta, LA, and Chicago who almost don't know what to do with themselves because their commute is 20 minutes instead of an hour and 15. The highway system here can get congested during rush hour, but by big city standards, it's not even close to the same conversation. All right, let's talk money because when people ask, is Kansas City affordable? The data is genuinely hard to argue with. The median home price in the Kansas City metro is significantly below the national average. Nationally, the median home price has hovered around 400,000 or higher in recent years. In the KC Metro on the Missouri side, you can find solid, well-maintained homes in the 200s and 300s in a lot of areas. And that includes some of the most desirable suburban pockets in the metro. Compare that to Denver, where the median is pushing 550,000, or Austin, where it's been well over 500,000, or Seattle, Chicago, Nashville. The gap is significant. I had a client just recently close on their first home in Kansas City. They got it for 4,000 under asking, 11,500 in closing costs, and a radon mitigation system installed. And it just doesn't happen like that in most major metros right now. The cost of living overall, groceries, utilities, dining out, all track well below the national average. Kansas City consistently ranks in the top tier of most affordable large metros in the country when you factor in income relative to expenses. That ratio matters a lot. Now, no city is perfect, so let's be real about the pros and cons of living in Kansas City because I think you deserve the full picture. The pros: affordability, job market growth, central location. You can drive to a lot of the country from here or fly pretty much anywhere with a connection. Strong sense of community, Local sports culture is huge. The Chiefs run is doing a lot for this city's national identity right now. A genuine quality of life that I think surprises people when they actually get here. Cons: the weather is unpredictable. Public transportation is limited compared to coastal cities, and some parts of the city have higher crime rates that you should absolutely research by specific neighborhood before buying or renting. I have some videos of that if you want to check it out. But that's not unique to Kansas City. Every major city has pockets like that. But it's worth mentioning just to be transparent. And for family specifically, I'll tell you, growing up here and now raising my own family here, a wife and 3 kids, this area checks a lot of boxes. The suburbs on the Missouri side, places like Blue Springs, Lee Summit, Liberty, and Grain Valley, have highly rated school districts, low crime, tons of parks and green space, and that small town feel without being too far from everything that the city offers. I'd personally put my money in Blue Springs if I were a family relocating right now, and I've told that to multiple clients. Youth sports are huge here, community events are well attended, and the pace of life is a little more manageable than what you'd find in a denser metro. So is Kansas City a good place for families? School ratings, crime, cost of housing relative to income, it all lines up pretty well. It consistently ranks among the better Midwestern metros for family life. Now let's flip it. Is Kansas City a good place for young professionals? The short answer is that the opportunity here is growing fast, and the cost of entry is still low enough that you can actually build wealth instead of just surviving paycheck to paycheck. The Crossroads District, the River Market, Midtown, these are walkable, vibrant areas with a strong young professional presence. Startups are growing in Kansas City. The tech scene, while not Silicon Valley, is developing. And because the cost of living is lower, young professionals here can afford to buy a home, save money, and build equity far earlier than their peers in more expensive cities. KC also has a strong networking culture. There are industry groups, young professional organizations, and events happening constantly. If you're willing to put yourself out there, this city rewards that. And for those on the other end of the spectrum, is Kansas City a good place to retire? Missouri has some favorable tax treatment for retirement income. Social Security benefits are not fully taxed for many retirees at the state level, and the overall tax burden here is below average compared to a lot of states. That matters when you're on a fixed income. Healthcare infrastructure in KC is strong. You've got major hospital systems, specialized care, and a good density of medical providers for a metro this size. The University of Kansas health system is one of the most well regarded in the region. And again, the affordability piece for retirees looking to stretch their dollar and potentially downsize, the KC Metro offers a range of options that let you live comfortably without burning through savings. So, should you move to Kansas City? Is it a good place to live? What's it actually like? I think what the data tells you is that Kansas City is a city that rewards people who give it a real shot. It's not flashy in the way that gets it into every magazine headline, but it is consistent, it's affordable, it's growing, and for a lot of people, families, young professionals, retirees, it genuinely delivers on a quality of life in a way that bigger, more expensive metros just can't do right now. If you want to go deeper on any specific area in the Kansas City metro, whether that's neighborhoods, schools, the market right now, drop your questions in the comments. I read all of them, and if you're seriously considering a move, feel free to reach out directly. Links are in the description. Check out my channel, and please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.